Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Sean DeWeird.
And we have got a lot of tech to talk about today. There's a lot going on.
There's just a lot.
Yeah. We always get together like before the show and we talk about like some of the things that, what interested you and what was it? And we were like going, wow, I got this. Oh, you got this. I got this. You got this. Oh, I got this. You got this one. Yeah. So
I felt like we had a lot last week.
We did. Actually, I got to tell you, last week we gave out a website address. And the website address, I thought that was kind of interesting. It was cool, right? You were looking at it on the air and you were kind of surprised by it. I had already, taken a glance at it and was looking through it. And I was also impressed by it. That, of course, was TV.Garden. And TV.Garden, in case you missed last week's show or you haven't, caught up on it yet, is a website where you can go and there's a globe and you could point anywhere on the globe you want. So if you point to the United States, it'll show you pretty much every streaming television channel that is available for you to watch online. Now, I know there's more than what they actually had, but it still was cool. The only one I could find in Tucson was K-Gun. K-Gun 9 was one of those streaming options. But if you want to find obscure channels, there are small, mini channels that have been launched now, low power TV, whatnot. But also you could find channels from around the world. So it was cool. I posted that on social media and a lot of people were loving it. Matter of fact, it's the highest view count of any of the videos we had done. But then somebody had commented in there and I didn't know it. There's a Radio.Garden as well. And it's Radio.Garden. And if you go there, it's the same premise. You can listen to any radio station around the world. I listen to stations from England, from India, from Spain, from Italy, from the United States. And matter of fact, KGVY, the station we broadcast on, has just been added because I found it and added our station to it by suggesting that we be on there. And sure enough, it was added earlier this week.
That's awesome.
So you can listen to streaming channels or listen to us.
Another place you can listen to us.
Yes, Radio.Garden.
That's awesome. And so we talked about like the TV Garden, the Radio Garden, right? There's I'm going to pitch in another really great radio website, which is websdr.org.
Oh,
which is a ham radio. It's a website for ham radio people that have built these web SDRs, basically software defined radios that you can listen to ham radio signals from around the world. You can tune them in, you can listen to them, so you could, from your computer, listen to ham radio signals from around the world. It's pretty cool. If you're into amateur radio at all, at any capacity, or if you're interested in it, dial this up, websdr.org. Find a web SDR somewhere, even if it's in your region, or
right.
if it's if you want to listen to something overseas, or it's just really cool to tune in and hear ham radio stuff from around the world.
Well, it's kind of cool because I have a friend named Fu that's from Myanmar, from Burma, and I mentioned that last week on the show. She has been studying in England, and she has a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is into picking up the radios now and doing, the shortwave radio. So if I found out when he was going to be on, I'd be able to actually tune in and listen to the broadcast.
Depending on where he's broadcasting from, you would have to find something probably close-ish to him, depending on when he's broadcasting and how much power he's putting out. But you could probably listen in and he'd pick him up. Yeah.
Wow. We have an amateur radio club here in Green Valley, and I where the show is, and I've thought about going in because honestly, I haven't had that much time with my radio, and I really want to do it more because it just seems like it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, you remember about 2 years ago on the show, we all got our GMRS licenses, right?
Yes, I'm a license.
And we were participating in the mygmrs.net, which had the internet connected repeaters all around the country. Well, just over a year ago, the FCC put a kibosh on internet connected repeaters because it violated the use, like there was some legalese they put in there that said you basically can't have a repeater connected to the internet because it violates the redistribution of the signal or something. So that really cut my GMRS use out. Like nobody here locally outside of like two people were talking on the GMRS repeater. And so the guys that I was talking to every day while I was driving to and from work or traveling, from where we go camping, because they were all connected, so I could just keep talking to them, just picking up different repeaters along the way. That just cut my amateur radio stuff in half, which was a bummer.
Right. Yeah.
And then the people locally to me, there was one lady that was just kind of got crappy and just kind of just like ruined it for everybody. And the owner of the repeater just said, "No, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this BS anymore," and shut the repeater down.
Oh man.
So outside of the 2-meter repeaters in town and some simplex stuff, like I don't do a whole lot of ham radio stuff every day. I still do some HF stuff, and some I do a lot of listening, but
yeah, it was kind of cool because one of the things I remember you did, and this was a special event. I don't know if they're still doing it. There was somebody who was on the space station flying overhead, and you were able to communicate or at least listen.
So that happens all the time, right? So the space station goes over all the time, right? During the daytime when you can't see it, but you can pick up and listen to the VHF UHF repeater that's on the space station. And so I have I bought an Arrow high gain Yagi antenna,
right,
so that I can have my radio set to a frequency, because it's UHF up and VHF down. I'd have to look at the sheet to remember off the top of my head. Can transmit on my radio to talk to the repeater, and then listen to the other frequency on the downlink, hear myself bounce off of that repeater, and then other people hear it and can respond to me off that UHF repeater. Now, there's a schedule that when some of the astronauts up there have their ham radio licenses, they will listen in and can actually respond to those calls from the space station. So there's specific times you can do it to get on board the space station and get an actual contact from the space station. But yeah, I've got QSOs from, because think about it, right? It's way up. So when it's really low on the horizon, and I can hit it with my antenna and talk to it, those signals are then being bounced over the visible curve of the Earth that I can see to the western part of the country,
right,
or the eastern part, depending on which direction it's traveling, right? So yeah, I've got QSOs from all over the West Coast and other places. I'd have to look at my log, but
so anybody listening right now that has never thought about doing it or never, it's not an expensive hobby, is it? I mean, the radios, they aren't too bad.
Getting into HF can be expensive. Getting into the HF bands can be a little bit prohibitive to new users if you don't have a radio or have an antenna set up. You can really just build your own antennas, really. But HF radios, it's fun. I recommend listening for a while first, right? Go to WebSDR, just pull it up and see what you can tune in. You have to get a license to do, there's 3 different tiers of license. You have technician, general, and extra. I'm a general, so I'm the second tier of the 3. And that gives me enough privileges to do what I feel comfortable doing. But it's fun because you get to experiment, you get to play with it, and you throw up a random piece of wire and now you're talking across the country. It's pretty wild.
It is pretty cool. What would be a good website to go to get more info? If somebody is like listening to this and I want to get into this. I mean, obviously, like I said, the Green Valley Amateur Radio Club, they've got one. They do all kinds of events. But if they want to go to a is there a website for this?
So ARRL, the Amateur Radio Relay League, which is like the kind of the catch-all for the ham radio world. They're kind of the governing arm of ham radio outside of the SEC. But find a local club, to be honest. A lot of times your local clubs are going to be the ones that are going to be, they usually have monthly meetings, weekly meetings, etc. You'd be surprised how many repeaters are actually around you. So ARRL.org. If you already have a radio and you want to listen, go to repeaterbook.com to find repeaters around you. It'll give you, if you put in your location, it gives you a radius of repeaters around you with their PL tones and whatever. Radio Reference is another good one. That one will give you frequencies that you can listen to. So like it gives you your local municipality. It gives you your fire, EMS, emergency stuff. It gives you local repeaters. It gives you other stuff like the universities, public service stuff is on there. School, the different schools, the different school corporations have their stuff on there. The airport frequencies are on there. A lot of what I have fun doing with ham radio stuff is just listening, right? You can do a lot of listening, but you can get into it relatively inexpensively for 2 meter and 70 centimeter. So 2 meter, which is UHF or VHF, VHF and UHF, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, which is GMRS, and then the lower tier of the ham radio bands. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. You got to study a little bit if you're interested in taking the test or you're thinking about taking the test. Hamstudy.org. They have an app you can download on your phone, take practice tests. That's what I did.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not completely hard to get into. It takes a little bit of effort, just like any hobby, to get experience on. But if you find a local club, you can go and ask questions, join their Facebook group, Yeah.
Well, here's something to think about too. And we're speaking about hobbies, so we got to mention this one. I went out this week. A buddy of mine, Chuck Taylor, no relation, is into radio. It's not radio controlled. It's control line airplanes, model airplanes. So they sit in a circle, or stand in a circle, and basically these airplanes with motors, they go around. I mean, they fuel them up and everything, and then they go and they can do effects with them. And it's one of the oldest clubs in America. And he asked if I go out there, and just shoot some drone footage. And I thought, wow, I haven't taken out the drone in months. So I went ahead and I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I charged up the batteries and everything, made sure I had all the cards, made sure the firmware was updated. I've got the DJI Mini 3, and I went out there and it was a lot of fun, which then got me thinking. Somebody the other day asked me about shooting a birthday party, a video, going in videographing, as a paid service. Can I come out, do videos, take photos? And yeah, sure, I've done that kind of thing before. And then he wanted drone footage. And it's uncomfortable because they say, well, I can't do the drone because if I'm charging you because I don't have a Part 107 license. So I started going online and looking at some of these courses where they say, hey, we can help get you Part 107. We've got all the study manuals and everything else. And then I thought of something. I after looking at this, ready to sign up right now, and I don't know if we never know when it's going to end, but right now the government is in shutdown. Let's face it, right? So I looked it up. FCC is not doing any drone certifications right now. Matter of fact, anything when it comes to licensing, you're going to have
ham radio licensing too, right? So you can't even get an FRN number, you can't apply for your license, etc. So until the shutdown gets taken care of, yeah, you can't.
You can't even add your phone number to a do not call registry. I tried to do that the other day because I'm getting spammed like crazy. But yeah, I just thought, wow. So yeah, I guess you can't radio license, drone license. You can't do that. So you might as well wait until we see when this blows over, and then all the agencies are back together, and however long that takes.
Yeah. Well, so you ended up flying.
I ended up flying, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. It was at a park. It was open. There was somebody though that came out and brought their drones too, and they had the little mini drones, but they were sitting in their car, like they weren't standing. Like I'm standing there with the remote control. They're sitting in their car. They're wearing a headset, so they've got I guess they call them
the FPV.
Yeah, FPV drones. And they make a lot of noise, those little guys, but yet they move pretty fast. And I thought that would be kind of cool to check out as well. But I was just having fun with the controller. But it was, it's funny. I don't know about you, like with a hobby, you start doing it, and then you want to just go more into it. You want to do more of it.
You guys have seen my basement. How many hobbies do you think I have?
You have quite a few, right?
I have too many.
Yeah.
And I get super invested in one hobby for like 8 months, 9 months, 12, a year. And then I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
Next. Yeah. And then I get super involved in the next hobby. And then I cycle back, and then I'm into the other hobby again for a long time. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I have a problem.
All right, getting to some tech stuff, kind of interesting because I have seen a lot of people now that are talking about, and some people took their steps to get into ChatGPT, and then they're trying out some of the other AI services now. But now a lot of people are talking about Copilot, which of course, a big part of Windows 11, and they're really trying to get a lot of people to use it. And one of the newest features, of course, voice chat on Copilot. Some people have compared it to, if you think about it in your home, maybe you have an Alexa device, or you have Siri, or you have, Google device. And people are saying, well, you could actually have conversations, you could have it do stuff for you, and you could do it now if you wanted your microphone to always be listening for, you to be able to ask it something, it can do that. Or you could turn it off, and there's shortcuts. But again, you could be sitting at your computer, just hit a button, and now have response from Copilot. But some people are saying, well, Copilot is a lot different than what ChatGPT or some of the other AI services out there. I still have not come to the idea of running it on my system. Have you had a chance to experiment with it at all?
It's immediately turned off for me. Windows, I just can't wrap my head around integrating an AI into my machine. I just don't. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird to think about it, right? I understand AI's purpose.
Right.
I understand it's a tool. I don't know if I want it on my machine. What benefit is it going to do on my machine that I haven't used it, so maybe I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I just don't foresee myself, like, anything I'm doing on my computer, I already know what I want to do.
Now, for our listeners that don't want to have this, it can be stopped or removed. It's not mandatory you have it. It's like OneDrive. If you don't want to use OneDrive, you don't have to. I have one computer that uses, two computers that use OneDrive, and the rest of them don't.
Yeah, so, you can't completely delete Copilot from your computer, but you can disable it and prevent it from running. Mm-hmm. So it is possible to, at least quickly. That's to say that a lot of people are just wanting to disable it. It's just I wish. Again, I wish Windows would just give us a clean version.
Yeah.
No bloat.
Yeah, give us, without the bloat, without the having to do this, having to do that. Just here, this is what it can do to get stuff done. But then that's when people will say, well, that's why you have Linux.
Right, which is outside of, so I've got this rig that I'm on now, which has Windows on it, which is my gaming rig, and my streaming rig. I have a Mac, which runs Mac OS Tahoe now, and I've just been installing Linux on everything else.
Yeah.
It's just easier to use, faster to get up and running, faster to install things, faster to do stuff, easier to quickly do things. I just put it on I have an ASUS ROG laptop that I got from a friend of mine who was getting a new one, and put Linux on it, and it runs amazing on there. And I've been using it for hard drive, moving content off hard drives into my NAS.
Right.
And it's super quick. And Linux doesn't care what file format your drives are. It'll read NFS, it'll read, or NTFS, it'll read exFAT, it'll read whatever. So I can copy stuff quickly that way and look at drives and format them. And I was on a mission last night trying to find, I got my old, this is going to be a little bit of a throwback. This is kind of what I was getting at with why I want a clean version of Windows 11. My mom gave me back a laptop that I had given her for just use around the house, probably in 2007.
Right.
It was the first laptop that I had bought with my own money. I bought it with my high school graduation money for when I went to college.
That's cool.
It was a Toshiba Latitude, or Toshiba Satellite, sorry. Toshiba Satellite, single core, Pentium 4.
Right.
Running 3.4 gigahertz. And so she gave that back to me, and I pulled the hard drive out of it, and I was wondering, you know what? This is when I first started playing World of Warcraft on. I wonder if I can recover any of my old screenshots.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
So of course, like I had deleted stuff, but I never formatted the hard drive.
Well, even if you format it, you might still be able to get stuff.
So what I did, and I haven't gone through all the photos yet, is I just looked it up, but I got to make sure I tell you guys the right software that I used for it. I used a data recovery utility that's free. Mm-hmm. It's called PhotoRec, Photo Recovery.
Oh. Wow, that's cool.
It's via another open source service called TestDisk, which is kind of there's a data hoarders subreddit and a data recovery subreddit that I'm on just for curiosity, this is highly recommended in there. It took me 2 minutes to install it. Followed the instructions on their website and let it scan this old hard drive, which was an IDE, a 2.5 inch IDE drive, which I have a USB to IDE adapter.
Those are the best.
I just plugged it in USB, let it read it, saw that it was an 80 gig hard drive, and let it rip, and it found, I told it just find any media images you could find, and just let it spin it took an hour and a half to do it, and now I've got,
and this is a free program?
It's free. Yeah, it just sudo apt get disk whatever. This is what I use ChatGPT for, right? It's like, here's this program I want. How do I install it? How do I run it? What are the best ways to run this software? And ChatGPT does a really great job of it's not always accurate, which is unfortunate. But this is what I like about Linux, is that it's all community based, right? So I can just go to forums and look and search and find ways to run this. But I was up and running on this software in a matter of minutes.
Wow. I've used for data recovery the first time, and I've been doing data recovery for years. I've recovered drives that, they were formatted, the whole bit. The first one I ever used was super powerful, and that was from a company called Kroll. It was called OnTrack, and it was a very expensive program, and we had them on the show, and they gave me a license to use, and it was amazing. At number one, the speed and how it was able to recover files, the whole bit. And then, it's been years, so it kind of degraded a little. And I did, at this point, I didn't want to pay for another license. I found another one called EaseUS, and they make all kinds of, they make backup software, they make security software, partition software, and of course they have a data recovery software. And that one works really well as well. That one's not too expensive. Wasn't that bad, wasn't like the other one. But EaseUS works really good as well. And again, it'll do that whole bit. It'll look for files that have been deleted on your current partition, even look for files that have been that have just gone, and it will find them.
Yeah, this scanned the whole drive, right? I told it, I don't care about the partition, just scan the whole drive, bit for bit, and tell me what you find. So I was going through it. Now, my mom had added a lot of photos to it, so it found a lot of the photos my mom had on it, but it found some stuff that I remember.
Right.
So I've still got, it ended up being like 52 folders worth of images or from different sectors on the drives.
Wow.
And I went through about 20 of them last night before I was like, oh, it's 1:00 in the morning. I should probably go to bed. And so I got to go through some more tonight after the show, but it's really cool because it made it really easy to back up content, right?
Yeah.
This fall, we just had a yard sale where I yard saled a ton of my old computers.
Right.
A ton of my old laptops that, had been given to me from family members, friends, my sister-in-law, my wife, laptops I used in college that they didn't care about anymore, pulled out the hard drives, just sold the machines for pennies on the dollar. But then I was like, you know what, let's just back up all these, maybe they want the pictures that are on here. Or maybe they want, oh, hey, Lauren, my sister-in-law, Lauren, she went to Michigan State, and I was able to pull stuff from when she was in college, back in 2005, 2006, when she was in college. So it's cool how easy it was to do. Just pop the drive into this little reader, and Linux just sees it. I can mount it. I can pull the copies over, and
Yeah, if you're a Windows user, you can find the same kind of hardware. I use Kingwin. That's one of them I've used.
Yeah,
Kingwin makes,
I don't want to confuse people and say you could only do this on Linux, right? I
yeah.
could have easily have just done this on my computer with the same USB drive and stuff. It's just I was having issues getting it to read some of the older drives that may have not been. Linux does a little bit better job of reading drives that may be corrupt or may have issues.
Yeah.
In different file formats and stuff. So I was just playing with Linux anyways. So it was just
cool.
a piece to play with. So
I know that SanDisk, they put out a drive and actually gave me a recovery software that came with the drive when I bought it. And I used it's like Rescue SD.
Yeah, they had a big promotion for a long time where it was like, oh, by the way, you buy your SD card, here's some photo recovery software.
Yeah.
Now, that it's either could be two things. Either they really want you to have the software, or you're buying a bad batch and you need the software. So here's a drive. By the way, here's the recovery software you're going to need 6 months down the road when the drive fails.
Oh boy.
Which, if you said SanDisk, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember OceanGate?
Yes. Yeah.
The Titan submersible that imploded.
Oh, I'll tell you what. We are up against the clock, so we got to take a break. You've got more info on this. OceanGate, and this is recent. So we come back, we will talk more about that with Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Sean DeWeird. Find us on your favorite podcasting platform and give us a like, subscribe, give us a comment, review us. We'd love to hear from you. Check us out on YouTube Shorts. So right before the break, we were talking about SanDisk and some file recovery software and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, I think this tops the list in terms of photo recovery.
All right, photo recovery, and it has something to do with OceanGate. For our listeners who don't remember, do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so OceanGate is the submersible that the billionaire from overseas built and kept going to the Titanic and took a bunch of people down, and then it imploded and killed the people on board and stuff.
Everybody, yeah.
At the depths of the ocean, right? At that depth, it's like this ridiculous pressure and all that stuff. So they ended up they found the wreckage, right, by going down with robotic submersibles and finding it. And they found that one of their underwater cameras was discovered largely intact, and it contained a SanDisk memory card that they were able to recover 12 stills and 9 videos from.
Oh my.
So if you just go to TechSpot has this on their blog. But there's this whole investigation that's happening, so it's all being very, very thoroughly investigated. And there's a really good write-up on here's what the camera was, here's what they did to clean it, here's what they found, really detailed images of the circuit board and the memory card and like the actual camera that was damaged. And it's pretty impressive, but that's pretty cool for them to be able to get down in there. The card was still encrypted. So it must have been a proprietary camera platform they were using. But like they were able to remove the NVRAM chip and copy it to a surrogate card. It was crazy what they had to do, but it's impressive that this little piece of flash memory survived this.
And we're talking, it's been underwater for a while. I mean, this happened almost 2 years ago, and we're just hearing about that. I don't know if they recovered it right away or if they just recovered it recently.
Yeah,
but wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, none of the photos or videos were from the final dive, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I guess I don't want to say unfortunately, but So
be interesting though. Maybe if it'll give them any insight as to what really happened, what was the situation that could have caused that. I think they know anyways, but it's still that could be something else. Wow,
pretty wild,
crazy. Yeah, SD cards don't forget.
It's a pretty good PR for SanDisk.
Yeah, I like their backup drives. I've used their I have had a couple of thumb drives go south. Where suddenly you can't write to them anymore. That's happened. But other than that, no.
I mean, they have a pretty cool PR campaign now, right? There's nothing more crushing than losing your memories.
Yeah, that's true, right? It's true. Oh man. Oh boy. All right, yeah, we were talking about something else too. That you wanted to mention this website that I thought was actually kind of cool. I've got another one for you to mention as well that you want to check out.
So I thought about this the other night because I was going through that old hard drive, right? And because I still had the Windows file structure, right, I
Right.
was able to see some of the older software that I had on there, like Ventrilo and
Oh,
TeamSpeak
oh wow.
and MSN Messenger and Yahoo Messenger and the software that I used in college that would show this would have been 2005, 2006, 2007.
Right.
And so then I was like, man, I where can I even could I even get these files, these softwares anymore? And then I was like, oh, there's this website that I remembered, so I just Googled it during the break. It's called oldversion.com because
Okay.
newer's not always better, right?
Oldversion.com. All right.
So we were just talking about how Andy was editing the show in his drone footage in Premiere and was having issues with the 4K footage, having the wrong codec, it wasn't playing right. Ended up putting it into Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve, which is free for their base version,
Completely handled it. No
and it
problem.
completely handled it, no problem. So what is he getting out of Premiere? He couldn't because he only had this. He would have to pay for the newest version. He would have to pay for the subscription. So sometimes newer isn't always better because he to pay for that subscription to move forward. It's like if you wanted an older version of something, like if you upgraded to a new version of a messenger platform or something, how do you go backwards?
Yeah.
Because a lot of places don't want you to go backwards because they're updating bugs, security issues, etc. But you can go back, and there's just tons of different. I mean, there's hundreds of softwares on here that you can go back and find.
And can you actually download these and use them?
They have the old versions of them still. If you wanted to go all the way back, like MSN Messenger, probably
Right.
the number one messaging platform that I used since I started using the internet, besides AOL Messenger, right? You can go and it looks like they have, I don't know, they've got a ton. They have 7 different builds. It looks like that you can go all the way back. It doesn't tell me when they were built,
Right.
but
Oh boy.
MSN Messenger 7.5.
Wouldn't you have to be careful though about where you're getting these from?
Oh,
I mean,
I'm sure. This everybody take this with a grain of salt. Don't go here and just start downloading old files and start installing them. Right?
yeah.
Do a little research. This is just me saying I liked this site because I found one old version of a software that I needed one time.
Right.
I haven't gone on here and downloaded a ton of these. They could be malicious. They could have torrents. They could have Trojans. Whatever. It's practice safe browsing. Like it's just.
Yeah, exactly.
Use
But
common
still,
sense. Don't just click because this is going to be one of those websites that you click on the download link and it's going to pop up and say, click this to download now.
right.
But it really is the link 2 pages down that you need to click on to download it. They try and trick you. But if you are in search of an old version of software that you had or you need because you're running Windows XP, if you're running a legacy system that's running Windows 98, Windows XP, whatever, offline, I hope.
Right.
Go here, oldversion.com, play around with it, see if it works for you. Maybe you can find the version of software you're looking for.
My daughter asked me the other day, the one that lives in Phoenix she remembers the old school video games. And I know that there's, what is it? Is it Galaxy Games or GOG?
Good old games.
Good old games is a website where you can find some of the older games, whether it be Tomb Raider or Pac-Man or whatever. You could find these on there. And she was asking if I could build an old Windows computer, an XP computer with Need for Speed, Road Rash, the one with the motorcycles that you would race, Redneck Rampage. Some of those games she would play because I had them on my machine. And I'm like, I think maybe it could happen. Just don't connect it to the net. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could have fun playing the local games yourself. That would be something that would be kind of cool. And then maybe have some fun with these programs as well. But
there's always going to be a community built around vintage gaming, classic gaming. There's a great subreddit that's just called Windows XP or WinXP. It's all about building machines that are XP compatible. And it's fun because that community, what they do is they push the boundaries of what Windows XP can run. So there's a running list of what's the current generation of something that Windows XP can run on. And I think they're up into like some Core 2 Duo
Really?
stuff. You can run a GTX 660. Like there's very specific hardware requirements for Windows XP that they're pushing the boundaries on for custom drivers that are made for NVIDIA cards or AMD cards or certain hardware to push the boundaries of what can be run on Windows XP, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool. All right, I've got a website to mention now. We already mentioned Radio.Garden. You can find radio stations from around the country, but we were just talking about video editing, and I want to make a point. While I've not been wanting to, I've been upset because Adobe, of course, went the route of subscription-based. Heather Rowe, local reporter, had commented. She showed a picture. She said, I miss the days of being able to own software that you could download or you could, install and run on your computer. And it was a picture of Creative Suite 5.5, which is the suite that I've had as well in the past. And, the thing is, the new Adobe software is powerful. Don't get me wrong. While I maybe have not, the idea of spending $70 a month on software that I may be able to use, at this point, it's just not beneficial for me to eat that subscription cost. I am familiar with the older software. It does what I need it to do, except in the case of the drone footage where it couldn't handle the higher resolutions. But the new software from Adobe is great. They can do some things in Photoshop and stuff in Premiere, After Effects that is just mind-boggling, right? Well, there's another site. While I'm using DaVinci Resolve now, and I love it. I'm now getting the flow of it. Oh, here's how you do a fade. And I'm finding a lot of extras that are a part of it that weren't a part of the suite that I had with Premiere Pro. So graphics and some other effects. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm finding these out. But there's another one. It's called OpenShot. Now, OpenShot.org is a website for OpenShot. It's a open source video editor that can be used for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. It's really designed for you if you're like a beginner and you're getting into it. You could do trimming, scaling. You could do transitions. So if you have a couple of scenes back to back, you can have, a wipe or a fade or a dissolve. It also could do audio mixing. You can download it from their website safely. Also offers a cloud API if you want to integrate video editing in your own application. But again, it's open source and it's free. So again, you can take a look at openshot.org and see if something that maybe, could work for you.
I mean, you got to remember, open source stuff, it gets built by the community, it gets supported by the community, it gets great ideas from the community. So it's like, you can take a risk and try it, and it's not going to hurt anything. Yeah. And if it does what you need it to do, support the open source community.
Absolutely. It's certainly worth it. All right. I'll tell you what, we have listener questions standing by. Let me, this is one of the questions that we got. Said, I have an Android device and I'm sick of the spam calls. Trust me, I feel that pain. I get them too. Sometimes I block them and the next day, different number, same recorded message. How can I block these? All right. So we're going to give a solution to you. If you've been looking to try and block spam calls on your smartphone, it's actually not that difficult to do. You'll still have to deal with voicemail, but we'll do that when we come back. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Sean DeWeerd. Find us on the web at TechtalkRadio.com. We'll be right back.
So spam, a lot of people get them. Whether you're getting spam mail, that's one thing. But if you're getting spam voice calls and voice messages, it can be really frustrating. I've talked to other business owners that tell me they get the same thing, whether it be somebody saying, we need to verify your Yelp account, and they get 2 or 3 of those a day, or they get them that, hey, we're finalizing the loan deal. You're like, you haven't applied for a loan or anything. So if you want to block calls, you just don't want to have to deal with them. Here's one of the things you do. You could set your phone to ring only for people on your contact list. Now, that can be difficult if you're running a business. However, it will allow people to leave a message. And of course, the spam calls can still leave a message, but you don't have to deal with it interrupting your day. So if you have an Android phone, one of the things you could do is use the do not disturb mode. Then you could set an exception to allow calls from contacts only, or even just favorite contacts. Like if I only want to let Sean get, in touch, or, Gloria or my boss, those are the only three that can get through. Everybody else goes to voicemail. It'll do the same for messages as well. So if somebody wants to text you, it's not going to bother you. On an iPhone, you go to settings, your phone, enable silence unknown callers. You can also use do not disturb and set it to allow calls only from your contacts. So it can
I've got mine set to silence unknown callers.
Right.
But I was just telling Andy during the break, we were talking about this segment. I got one that it just came up. They can spoof the iOS contact cards. So it just said healthcare.
Right.
And then the phone number underneath. So it looked like a contact was calling me, but it said healthcare. And I was like, I don't even have a contact called healthcare. So they were able to spoof a contact card, and it just said healthcare. So it's like, I was a little freaked out about that, but
yeah, and somebody said, well, just change your number,
okay, because that's a pain in the rear end.
And then you might change it to a number that's been getting spam. So, that's one of the things. It's really weird though, because we moved a number that we had originally as our Skype number. We moved it to the iPhone. We never got spam ever on the Skype number, but we do on the iPhone now. And it's the same Yelp calls, which is not really Yelp.
The listener that said just change your phone number.
Yeah.
Like that. Think about it. 20 years ago. Well, 20 years ago, right? I've had that same phone number for 20 years. Think 30 years ago. Let's get back a little further. Everybody had a landline. You couldn't change your number without paying a big fee, right?
Yeah.
And then even then, when you got a cell phone number, it was still kind of a pain in the rear end to change it. Because you had to tell everybody to get rid of your old contact phone number. New phone, who dis? Right? So the question is, how long have you had your current phone number?
Right.
I've had the same phone number the entirety of my cell phone existence.
Right.
And it's interesting to think back, okay, well, we got those phones because I had to share a phone with my brother when I was in high school. This would have been 2000, 2001, maybe?
Right.
And we were on US Cellular.
Mm.
US Cellular got bought by Altel.
Mm-hmm.
Altel got bought by Verizon.
Right. And the thing about it, the numbers floating around there, when there's a hack, your number's out there.
Yeah. The number's been out there for who knows how long now.
Right.
But, there's some protections for consumers in place, but it's still, and it just feels like it comes in waves, right? It'll be no spam calls for a while, and then something will change in the law, or somebody will figure something out, and then all of a sudden you're just getting inundated with phone calls.
Right.
And it's interesting because if you're at work and you start getting spam calls, it's kind of freaky when other people around you also get spam calls.
At the same time, yeah.
Or around the same time or within the same time period. And they're like, oh, I'm getting a spam call. 5 minutes later, hey, I'm getting a spam call. It's like they're in some sort of algorithm that's like tracking us down.
I wonder if forwarding your call, if you have a Google Voice number, just forward everything to a Google Voice number. But you're still dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, you're still screening your calls.
Yeah. Speaking of hacks, and there's a big story about Gmail passwords. About 183 million accounts apparently could have been leaked. And while Google is saying that that's really not, that's not it's not a big issue. It's not as it's inaccurate. Others are saying, no, it is. And there's a website. If you've never checked the website, HaveIBeenPwned, it is one to take a look at. And it's HaveIBeenPwned. Is it .com or .org?
.com.
Yeah, .com. So if you go to that, you can enter your information safely. Your email, don't do a password, but you could do your email, and it will tell you if your email is floating out there in the wild as being one that was recently leaked, and could even tell you if your password could be one of those, that piece of information that's out there.
So my Gmail is fine.
Mm-hmm.
there are 2 breaches, one from December of 2018 and one from August of 2013. So my
Wow.
Gmail account's pretty good. Let's see my Hotmail. Is my Hotmail been okay?
Yeah. You still use Hotmail?
That's my primary. I've
Wait,
had
you
that.
still use Hotmail?
Yeah.
Really?
I still, yeah. So everybody, they keep trying so hard. Microsoft is trying so hard to get me to switch it to an Outlook.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, I created this. I don't know why I decided to just pick Sean DeWeird at hotmail.com.
Right.
Back, but this is the same email address I've had literally since I've had an email address.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would have been 1998, maybe even earlier. It's like, I can't give it up.
So are
Hotmail doesn't even exist. Yeah. 21 data breaches for Hotmail.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. All right. So
Hot Topic, Advanced Auto Parts,
Hot Topic. You were shopping at Hot
AT&T,
Topic?
Park Mobile, DriveSure, Star Tribune, Zynga, Store Envy, Roll20, 50px, LiveJournal. God, LiveJournal.
So, oh yeah, they're gone.
XSplit, Adobe, Tumblr, Dropbox. There's a couple of them.
You notice as they got more techy as the years went. I mean, from Hot Topic to Dropbox. Yes, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, right. I went through. I don't want to call it like a emo phase, but I bought.
Oh, man.
Well, so okay, Hot Topic was the only place. Like, this is back when you actually had to go to stores to buy stuff. For those people who are listening that don't buy stuff from actually brick and mortar stores anymore, they were the only place that was a legitimate place to buy gaming T-shirts.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? Because like you couldn't buy. I bought Halo. Yeah, but they were kind of like the, the off the cuff store, the rebellious store, right? So you could go buy your Halo 2 T-shirts or your gaming T-shirts that were a little more violent than what JCPenney's would sell. Now you can just buy it all online, right? Whatever. But Hot Topic was where I bought a lot of my T-shirts because I liked, I had a Super Mario Brothers T-shirt, I had a Duck Hunt T-shirt, I had a bunch of old retro gaming T-shirts that you couldn't get anywhere else except Hot Topic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool though. Yeah. Hot Topic. That's brings back some memories though. All right. So you can look this stuff up yourself. Have I been pwned? Pwned. P-A-W. Pwned. P-A-P-W. Just P-W-N-E-D. So have I been PWNED.com. You can type in that email address and see if that has been the subject of a date. More than likely it has, but it gives you something to be concerned with when that information is out there, what other information goes along with it. Now, for anybody who has Gmail, okay, you want to be safe? Change your password and use a password manager. Don't use the same password. We see this too often where somebody just says, I'll just use the same password. Use the same password for this and that and that and that. And a lot of the people out there that want to get into your accounts and want to see they know that. And if they're able to hack one, they could possibly hack the all.
And that question comes up too, right? We've talked about this on the show with Justin and Matt too. It's like, password managers, are they worth it? Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. Just there's one specific one I would highly tell you to avoid, and that's LastPass.
Right.
Because they got hacked more than once, and it's just been a nightmare for LastPass. And if you go to their website, you would never know they got hacked, and it's just kind of a shady thing. But the Apple Password Manager and OnePass are my 2 recommendations for people. If you're on a Mac and you want to stay in the Mac world, the Apple Password Manager across all your iCloud accounts is super easy to use.
Haven't they? They've just updated that too with the new iOS, haven't they?
I believe so. I don't use it. It's just I recommend it just because it's part of the Apple ecosystem and it comes highly recommended across the Mac platform.
OnePass is phenomenal.
OnePass is phenomenal. I use it personally, and then we use it at the enterprise level at work, and it's great. It's super easy to use. Caitlin and I both have it on our phones. You can sync it to your biometrics. You can use it for your Face ID. So if you have passwords saved in it, you can set 1Password to do Face ID. You can have it use the fingerprint scanner, like on my MacBook, or So it's 1Password is by far, I think, the best password manager that is out there right now.
What do you think of the bio keys? Like I have a YubiKey, and you plug it into the USB port, and your thumb can then set like a biometrics can do that.
So you're talking like a biometrics 2-factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really concerned about security, sure. I think an actual physical biometric security could be beneficial. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah. I think if you're practicing and using safe passwords and not using duplicates and not, using your dog's name as your password or password 12345 or password,
yeah,
or filling out a survey at Facebook that's the top 10 targets for password phishing is like, what street you grew up on? What was your first car? What was your pet's name? Yeah. Every survey that I ever filled out as a teenager on the internet.
Yeah. When's your birthday? I've seen
that. Yeah. So, I mean,
recently. Yeah.
I think if you're just being safe and you're using good passwords with a capital letter, a symbol, more than 12 characters, etc., you're going to be just fine.
All right. I've got another website link to share with you. I showed this on television this past week, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's called Remove.bg, which stands for Remove Background. If you've scanned photos in and you have a background you don't like, and you think, I want to change that. Or maybe it's like your old school photo that had that canvas background that didn't look that good. You can upload your photo to remove.bg, and you could choose your background, or you could just use one of the predetermined ones that they have and, have a little fun with your photos. It's fun to do anyways. It's fun to upload, take a look at it. It's safe, and then you can even download the photo in like low resolution. If you want to pay for a higher resolution, you can. But it's one of the many tools that are out there that if you want to have some fun, it's remove.bg, and it's super easy to use.
Right, because you can download them as PNGs, you can download them as JPEGs. It's very easy to use. I used it for when my D&D players would create minis,
right,
for using in our virtual tabletop. They would just send them to me. I would just drop it in Remove.bg, and then it's perfect. And then I have an actual mini looking token on our virtual tabletop platform. It was very easy to use.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Sean DeWeird. Drop us a comment, and we'll get your comment on the air. We take them in. Call us, email us, text us, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, whatever. Get us.
All of them. If you're a parent, sometimes finding the right programming for your kid to watch or for you to watch with them can be a challenge. Scholastic has launched its first branded streaming app featuring Clifford, Goosebumps, and other kinds of shows. The Magic School Bus.
Miss Frizzle, man. That was my jam back in the day.
The Magic School Bus, did you like that one?
I loved that show. It actually is probably one of the most engaging video games I ever played was the Magic School Bus video game.
It was cool. And a lot of kids are looking, you want your kids to have good stuff. Miss Rachel is great. There's Lucas is great, but this is for kids 2 through 12, and their families can watch along with them. They got 400 hours of premium content, and it's free, that makes it even better. You can watch it on Roku devices if you got a Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, but you want to look for Scholastic. And, we've trusted them with some of their content for years and some of this video content.
And I always loved going to the Scholastic book fairs growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And, coming home with a sheet and begging my parents to spend $100 on books.
Well, do you remember didn't they put out highlights? Was that Scholastic?
Yes.
I think it was. Because if you go to the doctor's office, so we don't.
Goofus versus Galantis. Goofus and Galantis or whatever it's called.
I always love that stuff. They also have like Barney and Friends. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Barney, but Garfield, there's something to watch. So again, look for that Scholastic. And, whether the grandkids coming over, the kids, they can enjoy that. And you got something a little more technical, though, you want to share.
Oh, so we talked a little bit about AI, and I was struggling to find an article that I had read recently about AI and Linux, but I did end up finding it. So Fedora, which is one of the leading distributions of Linux for a kernel level, the Fedora's governing council, so they have an overarching governing council on how the development of Linux goes forward.
Right.
They've approved an AI-assisted contributions policy, which officially allowing responsible use of AI tools in project development. So basically, that just supporters are saying that it's going to keep Fedora relevant in a rapidly shifting landscape, acknowledging that AI is now a core part of Linux development.
But don't you think like some people are moving away from some of the other OSs and going to, something like Linux because it doesn't have the AI? They're getting away from it.
Well, that's part of the reason why I was going away from it.
Yeah.
Like to get rid of the bloat, right? But this isn't necessarily meaning that AI is going to be used in your face, right? It's just meaning they're going to be using it to help develop Linux on the back end. This is my take on it, right? They're going to use AI to help develop tools to make Linux better. We'll see. We'll have to see.
We'll talk more about it next week on the show. In the meantime, you can reach out to us, techguys@techtalkradio.com. Drop us an email, and that's it. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Sean DeWeird. Find us on your favorite podcasting platform, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, you name it. Find us, like us, subscribe us, and drop us a line. We'll get you on the air.